There's a secret game for the Switch OLED. Welcome to our Strong Labor Roundup. This week, we're believing in the goodness and humanity again. We've got a complete Game Boy collection thanks to the help of strangers. We've got an awesome Nintendo arcade made out of cardboard. We've got a secret game Nintendo doesn't want you to know about, as well as possible Crash Bandicoot coming to Smash. There's a lot to discuss. Let's get going. And if you haven't heard by now, which if you have heard by now, you're probably tired of me saying it, but we are giving away a white Nintendo Switch OLED. Still exciting to say every time. I'm so excited to give somebody one of these. I'm excited enough for myself to have one, and I'm so excited to share that joy with another person. There's more information on this in the description. This news, honestly made me believe in the good of humanity again. A Nintendo fan completed their complete collection of all the Game Boy games with the help of strangers from the internet. How sweet! They did it together in only 2 years, which is crazy to think about. Like a copy of every single Game Boy game that ever came out in only 2 years. Twitter user Shouta is now the proud owner of 1,244 Game Boy titles. Now, if you're in the US, you may be thinking there was only 1,046 titles released for the Game Boy. That is not true for Japan. Actually, 1,244 games that were released. There's an extra, basically 200 games that the US did not get, which so unfair. One of the sweetest things about this is that the entirety of the collection was finished in only 2 years, purely because of the help of strangers who collaborated with Shouta over Twitter, figuring out what games he needed and sending them to him. After Shouta completed his collection, he tweeted saying, "If it wasn't for Twitter, this would have taken 5 years." And again, it just made me feel good and believe in the collective of humanity. Good going, guys. We did it. Sometimes humanity is good. All right, if you are a huge Nintendo Labo fan like me, you are going to love this. If you don't know what Nintendo Labo was, it was basically these build-your-own kits that Nintendo came out with that had all these fun possibilities, like you could connect them to your devices sometimes. It was a whole thing. It was awesome. And then basically Nintendo just dropped us like it was hot. I've always wanted these Nintendo Labo kits, but they are so insanely expensive for what is basically just cardboard, to the point where I couldn't justify just buying one. And my husband, who is usually my voice of reason for impulse purchases, is always like, no, don't do it. And he loves Nintendo as much as I do, so if he's telling me not to do it, it's usually for a good reason. Make sure to subscribe, and if we reach a certain amount of subscribers, maybe I'll convince my husband to let me have a Nintendo Labo kit, and we can build one on the channel. The reason why I bring this up is because a YouTuber, Dan Creator, created the ultimate Nintendo Labo kit, a Mario Kart arcade, and it is so cool. It came out incredible. This looks like an arcade cabinet. This build included speakers and LED accent lights, and because obviously it's really hard to get a hand on the actual Mario Kart arcade version, he was able to use just the regular Mario Kart version for the Switch, which personally I think is even cooler, especially if it's something that you already have in your own house. I am a big fan of found materials builds. As you guys can tell from my cold opens, I always just use something that I have around. Yeah, this is something that just made me really excited and inspired to build something fun myself. All right, guys, buckle up, because I'm about to drop some crazy Nintendo theories about Crash Bandicoot. If you don't know, it is Crash Bandicoot's 25th anniversary this year, and there hasn't really been a lot of content out for the 25th anniversary. There was a big anniversary sale, and then there was this anniversary video, but that was pretty much it. But what really caught my eye was one specific thing they said in the video. Toward the end, they said, "Happy anniversary, Crash. We'll be seeing more of you very soon." Very soon. What do they mean by very soon? It doesn't seem like there's really any rumors for a new game coming out, especially because Crash Bandicoot 4 came out so recently. So it could maybe be some DLC. Who knows? But what I think, and maybe a little crazy, is I think we may be getting Crash Bandicoot for Smash. Here's why. Crash Bandicoot has already been a fan favorite for Smash. It has a popularity needed in Japan, and again, why would they say we'll see you very soon if they're not planning on any games or DLC, which there have been absolutely no rumors about. But what there have been a ton of rumors about is that the final Smash character is getting ready to announce, hopefully sometime in September. I mean, it kind of lines up perfectly. And what a better final character to do than something that also celebrates the anniversary. It seems just kind of like the perfect solution for a final character player. I mean, personally, I still really want Phoenix Wright, but just the way they said that to me makes me really feel like we're gonna see Crash Bandicoot in Smash. And here's another thing to think about too. You may be saying, Nicole, it's not gonna be Smash, it's probably other Crash Bandicoot content, but the specific company that makes Crash Bandicoot had layoffs in May, so they would have less of a staff to make actual a new game or bigger content. So it would have to be something smaller, or maybe something that, the studio isn't even working on at all because the Smash team is working on it. I'm just saying, the pieces fit. Nintendo has been really dodgy lately when it comes to games. When it came to Pikmin 4, they're like, all we can say is we're working on it, but no other news. And they've been stringing us on for years. And now they're doing the exact same thing with Bayonetta 3. The last solid Bayonetta 3 content we saw was a brief teaser trailer in 2017. 2017. A lot has happened since 2017. A lot. The world is basically different now. And yet, still no news. Or so we thought. There could be a very specific and suspicious reason why we are not getting any news about Bayonetta 3. And it is all Nintendo's fault. Earlier this year, the series creators seemed to tease that we were going to see Bayonetta 3 being released before the end of 2021. There are now about 3 months left of 2021 and still no news. But the plot thickens. The studio head also has been quoted saying, "There's no need to worry. Do not worry about it at this time. Everything's okay." Which again, a little suspicious because sometimes I feel like that's a statement that somebody says when there is something to worry about. Why need to assure us that everything is okay that many times, right? But I do actually think everything is okay because later they said, ultimately, it is not our decision what to say or when to say it. Which to me sounds like they have a lot to say, but a certain someone whose name starts with an Nin and ends with a Tendo is telling them to keep their mouth shut. Later on in the video as well, the studio head keeps stressing that they are so excited to show fans Bayonetta 3 that it looks incredible, but Nintendo wants them to keep their mouths shut about it. So what is Nintendo up to? The only thing that I can think of is that they just want more games to create mega buzz around the Switch OLED. So it seems like they kind of want to stack their arsenal so that when the OLED comes out, they can be like, there's also these new games that you've got to get an OLED to play. Even though we know that you still can play OLED games on the Switch, there's not really a difference between the two, but they still want to create, just in general, I think, that hype of you have to have at least a Nintendo device to play these incredible games that everyone's talking about so you're not left out. The studio head was also quoted saying, as much as everybody is clamoring to see it, we really, really want to release it, which again makes me think Nintendo is holding off to have a giant holiday season dump to create that mega buzz when the OLED comes out. Not only that, but we've got a direct coming up basically any day now. So I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of big games that are going to be set to release either right after the OLED comes out or maybe even a couple available nows. Either way, Nintendo's being so sketchy about this. I don't understand why. It's okay, Nintendo. It's okay to let people build hype. Not everything needs to be a mega secret. So as the OLED release is coming closer, it's very important to make sure you're getting the right accessories because while games can be shared between the Switch OLED and the regular Switch, accessories are a little different because the OLED has not only different backing, but different dimensions just overall. Here are a couple accessories that are made specifically for the Switch OLED so you can make sure that they actually fit. First up is a Slim Hard Pouch Plus. This comes in 3 colors, black, red, and blue for only about $17 and looks like a great way for you, again, to store your Switch in your bag so you don't have to worry about it getting smashed or knocking against anything. Again, something to think about when you're buying these storage pouches, and something that's great about this is it's made for the OLED size, is that the back end dimensions are going to be different than the original Switch, so you might not be able to use your old case. If you want something that's soft on the outside but has a tougher interior than what I previously mentioned, you're going to want the Tough Touch Plus. They also have these made specifically for OLEDs, so you won't have to worry about it not fitting your device. I will say I like the coloring on this one a lot better. It comes in a white and black, a blue and black, and a red and black. And this one is a little more expensive at $19.77, but again, it just matters for aesthetics, truly. I think both are going to protect your Switch, and I doubt any of us are doing anything like that crazy with our Switch in tow that we're going to need like an incredibly heavy-duty case. This one, again, is more heavy duty than the other one, but I really think the main difference is just aesthetics. The same company also has a less heavy duty hand pouch. Is not gonna have necessarily the toughness on the outside, but still, you know, has some light protection. This comes in a navy and a beige. The price of this is $17.05, so it's gonna be about the same price as the very first pouch that I brought up, but I think that the first pouch has more protection. But again, it really just matters aesthetics of what you like, because I don't think any of us are bringing our Switches again into like any scenario where they could actually possibly be damaged. But if you are planning on bringing your Switch to a scenario that could actually probably be damaged, I would say you should probably go with either the last two I brought up over this one. This one seems more like a casual pouch. And last but not least is this wide pouch. Again, perfect for the OLED. It is actually made with the size for the OLED, and it has extra spaces for cartridges and accessories, which is great. Again, if you don't like lugging all your stuff around in your backpack, this is perfect to have everything all in one place. My own case that I have definitely has places for cartridges. I don't think I could do without having places for cartridges, especially when you're traveling. It's always nice to be able to switch games, you know, if you start getting sick of one or the other. And for those of you who are not planning on getting an OLED, but still wanted to have that better just like standability for the tabletop version, this is for you. This is a multi-purpose stand for $16.14, and again, it just like makes things more solid in tabletop mode. You probably won't need this if you have an OLED, but they do have an OLED version. I think the main reason though you would want to buy this is if you have a Switch and didn't want to spring for the OLED, but just want a better tabletop playing experience. This is gonna enhance it big time. All right, friends, you know I love a deal, and this one's 85% off. What? That's pretty crazy. We all know Bandai Namco is always doing sales. Like, it's not that uncommon for them to do sales, but their summer sunset sale is actually pretty good. And again, it goes up to 85% off, so that is some giant savings on games. The sale ends on the 23rd at midnight Pacific Standard Time, so be sure to check it out before then. I'm going to list off a couple of my favorites that I noticed in the sale. Okay, this may sound like a joke, but the Dragon Ball Z Fighters game is only $10 right now, and it's usually $60, so that is like an incredible deal. I mean, go for it, right? God Eater 3 is actually on sale for only $12 versus the $60 that it normally is. Katamari Damacy Reroll is on sale for like only $8 when before it was $30. You know I'm a big fan of Katamari games. They're so fun and so relaxing. Taiko no Tatsune Drum & Fun is on sale for only $10, which is a great deal. This is a really popular rhythm game. I have like no rhythm. So I am not good at this game, but this is a really fun one for everyone, even if you're like me and have no rhythm. This sale has Dragon Ball, Naruto, and Digimon games and a whole lot more, so be sure to check it out. Again, before the 23rd when the sale is done.